So today we're going to be talking about the strategy pattern, and if I have time, uh, we're going to talk about uh, the power pattern. They don't really go well. They kind of go hand in hand in the fact that I have a list of properties that are or behavior that is shared amongst multiple objects. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and delegate that to an object that, keeps everything the same across the board. So, and using one of those objects and knowing that they do have the power pattern, I'm also guaranteed to be able to run some kind of algorithm on it. So we'll see what that means in a second. So here we are with our friendly console application, and this is C Sharp. So let's call this strategy. If I can spell strategy, and power patterns. Let's go ahead and get rid of console.writeLine. Let's go ahead and create for ourselves an interface. New file. MISC. I just wanted to see what that was for a second. Anyway, empty class. We'll call it for our purposes, iPerson. And this is going to be an interface. So let's go ahead and get rid of the constructor, the default constructor that Xamarin also automatically gives you. And we're going to have a list of methods. Okay. So void. How about eat? That seems good. And let's get another one. Void work. For all intents and purposes, we all eat the same way, although we don't work the same way, so that should be good enough. And I'm going to create for you, well, hopefully we all eat the same way. I don't think anyone does anything out of using their mouth to eat. So I'm going to create a student, and the student class is going to go ahead and inherit from person, as you can probably tell. And I'm going to go ahead and add a new file, and I'm going to call it professional, and he is also going to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and delegate a power, a person power for our example object, person power, and basically he is going to inherit from iPerson, and we're going to do public void eat, and that's what basically he does. He does it. Everyone does it the same way. So we're going to go ahead and write line. We're going to write line. Food is good. Is delicious. How about that? If I can spell it. Delicious. Is delicious. So we all eat the same way. Now we're going to go ahead and create another. We're going to go ahead. You know what? We'll be super classy and just not have it inherit. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a professional. Actually, we need it to inherit for other reasons. No, technically we don't. I'll get back to that. Just give me a second. Let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and inherit from iPerson. Let's go ahead and do private person power person. And we'll go ahead and in the constructor we'll do person is equal to a new person power. How'd you like that? Power just to represent the power pattern, of course. So now let's do public void eat. And instead of writing, all the other stuff down, we're going to go ahead and just do this. And then we have to work. So public void work. Yep. So that's good. And console dot write line studying for a test. For a test. And going to go ahead and going to do the same thing here in professional. I am going to inherit from my person, and I'm going to go ahead and have a power person, and you can see that we're using a weak relationship. We're not going to inherit from person. We're just going to use it in a has-a relationship. I seem to have instantiated it in two places for no apparent reason. Okay, let's go ahead and make this private because I like my variables to be private and to not break encapsulation, which by default is package level for .NET. So I'm going to go ahead and do public void eat. How'd you like that? And I'm going to do power person.eat, and I'm going to do public void work, and that person's going to work. And by work I mean console dot write line programming and listening to heavy metal or rap, because either way you're listening to something like getting in the zone. So programming. So that's the two: professional works and he codes. So those are the two. Now we're going to go ahead and create a monotone. If you've watched my tutorials and you don't know what a monotone is, then you're going to need to look up what that is, because we're going to call it do I don't know. Here, let's try this. Work for me. So here's what it is. It's going to be a static method. So basically a static method and not a static property like we were discussing before. Void work I person P. And basically it's just going to go ahead and call person dot work. And I'm going to go ahead and actually go back to here and change work to return an int. So that'll freak out a lot of things. So let's go to professional, void int. So we'll change it to int, and it'll return new random, if I can spell it, random dot next, And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assume this returns an int because that's what it's so happy to do. Then I'm going to go to student and work, and this is going to return int. And I'm going to go ahead and return 100. So we'll go to professional, and we're going to do math dot absolute value of this. Let's go ahead and modulus 200. Let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to go ahead and plus 100, and we're going to go ahead and end it. So it's always going to be, and this is key now, over 100. So no matter what it is, it'll be over 100. Now we can go and we can go to work for me, and we can set int I equal to work for me. And if I double equals 100, then you know that it's a student. So now we can console dot right line student. Otherwise, else, and this algorithm will do some work. Else console dot right line professional, move in the decimals. So we can decide, we can find out who's who, we can do a lot of stuff, and we're not even tied to the anything but the interface. Now the power pattern is used to eliminate code use over there and ensure that it's separated out, and the strategy pattern is using this. So let's go to program and let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and iPerson P1 is equal to a new professional. And go ahead and do iPerson P2 is equal to, and you can think that you could use the factory pattern to instantiate this. Look into the factory pattern and see that that can be used too. So I'm going to go ahead and do student, and I'm going to go ahead and P1 dot, let's go ahead and eat, P2 dot eat, and you'll see it ends up being the same. P2 dot work and P1 dot work. Now go ahead and console dot right line work, and I'm going to go ahead and do console dot right line P2 work, and finally I'm going to do work for me dot work, and I'm going to go ahead and pass in P1, and I'm going to go work for me dot work. I'm going to go ahead and pass in P2, and now I'm just going to run everything and it should just work. Let's see, build success, how we like that, and start without debugging. Yep, everything is just as I expected it would be. So, in case you're wondering, I called work inside of that, which also prints out. So that's why there are two printouts for that. So that's it, and that's it for this tutorial. And hope to see you later on.